Good evening. Tonight's story begins with a strike that Pentagon planners had quietly feared, NATO commanders had been warning about behind closed doors, and Western intelligence agencies had been tracking piece by piece for weeks. This was not a slow escalation that unfolded over days or even over a tense night of uncertainty. It happened in a matter of hours. Hours that dramatically altered the balance of power in the Black Sea, hours that exposed one of Russia's most carefully protected naval secrets, and hours that cost Vladimir Putin an estimated $4.7 billion in military assets. What Ukraine did today crossed a line Moscow desperately hoped would never be crossed. And once that line shattered, the Kremlin reacted instantly, with anger, with threats, and with promises of retaliation that have put the entire Western alliance on edge tonight. But here is the crucial detail many are missing: Ukraine struck first. And they did not strike blindly or emotionally. They struck with precision, deep intelligence, and a level of coordination that Russia simply did not anticipate. For months, there had been subtle signals, no official announcements, no dramatic press briefings, just quiet indicators suggesting Russia was preparing something unusual in the Black Sea. Russia's behavior has always been aggressive, but it has also been predictable. Their naval movements followed familiar patterns, a recognizable rhythm that intelligence analysts had studied for years. That rhythm suddenly disappeared. And when Russia goes quiet, experienced analysts know it usually means something big is coming. Over the past week, alarm bells rang in Washington and London as analysts observed a series of unusual developments. Command vessels were repositioned without explanation. Communications blackouts appeared where there had previously been steady traffic. High-ranking officers were quietly moved to undisclosed locations. Encrypted communications spiked, then abruptly vanished into complete radio silence. All of this unfolded within a 72-hour window. To intelligence professionals, these are not coincidences. They are warnings. What Western intelligence uncovered was deeply concerning. Russia had been secretly building a fortified underground command post along the Black Sea coast. This was no ordinary installation. It was designed to coordinate the entire Black Sea fleet from a position believed to be beyond the reach of Ukrainian strikes. Buried deep underground, heavily reinforced, and connected to a web of support facilities, it represented years of planning and billions of dollars in investment. This was Vladimir Putin's insurance policy, a way to preserve Russia's naval dominance even as surface ships continued to fall to Ukrainian attacks. And Ukraine destroyed it. Early this morning, Ukrainian military intelligence detected unusual thermal signatures near a classified coastal area. These signatures revealed movement patterns that had not been observed in more than a year and a half. Such movements only occur when Russia is preparing something significant: a major offensive, a defensive repositioning, or a high-value command operation. Ukrainian intelligence did not immediately know which of these it was, or whether it was all three at once. But they understood one thing clearly: Russia was changing its posture. And when a nuclear power shifts posture without explanation, even slightly, the world pays attention. What made this discovery even more significant was the location. This was not a known Russian base. It was a hidden facility, built in secrecy, camouflaged to avoid detection, and specifically designed to survive the kind of strikes Ukraine had successfully carried out before. Russia believed it was invisible. They believed Western satellites would miss it. They believed Ukraine lacked the reach and capability to hit it. They were wrong. The Kremlin's response tonight was unusually urgent. This was not routine rhetoric or symbolic outrage. Russian officials described Ukraine's strike as provocative, escalatory, and unacceptable in a way that demanded immediate retaliation. But intimidation only works if the other side hesitates. Ukraine did not hesitate. What they carried out today was one of the most sophisticated operations of the entire war. Within hours of confirming the location, Ukraine launched a coordinated assault involving long-range missiles, naval drones, and what appears to have been special operations forces operating behind Russian lines. These were not the improvised attacks seen early in the conflict. These were precision strikes executed with advanced systems that Ukraine only deploys when it intends to reshape the battlefield. And that is exactly what happened today. Ukraine's Ministry of Defense confirmed that multiple targets were struck simultaneously. The hidden command post itself was hit. The communications infrastructure linking it to the fleet was destroyed. Fuel depots and ammunition storage facilities prepared for extended naval operations were eliminated. In simple terms, Ukraine attacked the brain, the nervous system, and the blood supply of Russia's Black Sea operations. They struck before Russia could launch its own plans, effectively dismantling what analysts believe was preparation for a major summer naval offensive. This is why Western intelligence warnings had grown so urgent in recent days. The command post was not symbolic. It was operational. If left intact, it could have shifted the balance of power in the Black Sea. Ukraine understood this and responded not recklessly, but strategically. They avoided civilian areas. They did not target population centers. They focused exclusively on command, control, and logistics. As a result, multiple Russian vessels are now confirmed damaged or destroyed, the fleet's coordination hub is offline, and Vladimir Putin is facing questions tonight that he cannot easily answer. What makes this moment even more significant is what it reveals about intelligence warfare. Pentagon analysts now believe Russia built this facility to test Ukrainian and Western intelligence capabilities. Putin wanted to see if it would be detected. He wanted to know whether Western satellite coverage would fail. He wanted to expose gaps between Kyiv and its allies. Instead, Ukraine identified the site, monitored it, and destroyed it with such precision that Moscow immediately took notice. Getting the Kremlin's attention is not easy. But today, Ukraine did exactly that. Defense officials speaking anonymously confirmed that Russia's hidden construction was meant as a safeguard after losing so many surface vessels. But Ukraine demonstrated that vigilance and lethality remained firmly on their side. The strikes were timed so precisely that Russian personnel had almost no warning. That timing matters. It shows Ukraine is no longer merely reacting to Russian moves. They are anticipating them. They are operating inside Russia's decision-making cycle, an extremely dangerous position for any adversary to be in. As reports continued throughout the day, the scale of the operation became clearer. Naval drones forced Russian patrol ships to abandon positions. Air defenses destroyed radar systems upgraded just months ago. Special forces reportedly destroyed fuel infrastructure critical to sustained naval operations. This was not a single strike or a short raid. It was a coordinated campaign aimed at degrading Russian naval power at its core. The estimated $4.7 billion loss is not just hardware. It represents years of construction training and institutional knowledge that cannot be quickly replaced. Russia believed the Black Sea was still their domain. Tonight, that belief has collapsed. The hidden facility is gone. The fleet is crippled, and Ukraine has demonstrated capabilities Moscow did not think they possessed. This defeat comes at a dangerous moment for Putin. He faces pressure from all sides, hardliners demanding escalation, oligarchs seeking stability, families desperate for their son's return, and propagandists hungry for victories. Leaders under this kind of pressure do not respond from strength. They respond from vulnerability. That makes the next 72 hours critical. NATO's official response, now circulating diplomatically, was carefully worded but unmistakable. Any Russian retaliation must be proportional. That is diplomatic language for "we are watching closely." The United States confirmed intelligence support for Ukraine without revealing details, making it clear Ukraine did not act alone and will not face consequences alone. President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed his nation tonight with a powerful message. He declared that Russia has nowhere left to hide, that the Black Sea belongs to free nations, and that every ruble spent on aggression will be paid back twice in loss. These were not slogans. They were statements from a leader fully aware of the stakes ahead. Compounding concerns, Russia has been repositioning bombers, increasing submarine activity, and escalating cyber operations, all within the same short window. Whether Ukraine preempted a major offensive or disrupted a broader escalation plan remains unclear. But one thing is certain: Ukraine did not wait. They acted. Tonight, Russian vessels are pulling back. Communications with Moscow are degraded. And Ukraine is already preparing for what comes next. Their message is unmistakable: hiding will not save you. And their message to the West is equally clear: Ukrainian forces can be trusted with advanced capabilities. What happens next depends on Putin's choices. De-escalation could mark a turning point toward Ukrainian control of the Black Sea. Escalation will be met by a coordinated response. For now, Moscow is quiet. And after a defeat like this, silence means calculation. Because tonight, Vladimir Putin has learned once again: Ukraine will find what you hide. Ukraine will strike what you value. And Ukraine will not stop until its nation is free. The story is far from over, but one thing is undeniable. The Black Sea is no longer a Russian lake. The fleet that once dominated it is crippled, and the war Putin believed he could control is slipping further from his grasp. And as this night stretches on, military planners across Europe and North America are not sleeping. They are watching screens, tracking signals, and studying patterns that are still unfolding. Every movement of a Russian vessel, every shift in air patrols, every spike in encrypted traffic is being logged in real time. Because moments like this do not end cleanly. They ripple outward. One decisive strike changes assumptions, and when assumptions change, strategies must follow. The certainty Russia once projected in the Black Sea has been replaced with hesitation, and hesitation in wartime is dangerous. There is also a psychological dimension to what happened today that cannot be ignored. Russia built that hidden command post not just as a military asset, but as a statement of control. It was meant to symbolize permanent security and dominance beneath the surface. Its destruction sends a powerful message, not only to Russian commanders, but to every officer and sailor who believed they were operating under an untouchable shield. Confidence is a weapon in war, and tonight that weapon has been badly damaged on the Russian side. For Ukraine, this moment reinforces something they have been proving repeatedly over the past year: they are not merely surviving this war, they are shaping it. They are choosing the timing, selecting the targets, and forcing Russia to react instead of act. That shift matters more than any single destroyed facility. Wars are ultimately decided by who controls momentum, and right now, momentum in the Black Sea is moving away from Moscow. At the same time, Ukrainian officials know better than anyone that victory today does not guarantee safety tomorrow. History has shown that Russia is most dangerous when embarrassed, when exposed, and when cornered. That is why Kyiv's leadership is emphasizing vigilance over celebration. There are no victory parades tonight, no declarations that the fight is over. There is only preparation, coordination with allies, and readiness for whatever response may come next. Western capitals are also weighing their next moves carefully. Support for Ukraine has proven effective, but it has also raised the stakes. Each successful Ukrainian operation tests Russia's tolerance and the West's unity. So far, that unity has held, and tonight's events may strengthen it further because they demonstrate that support is not being wasted. It is producing results that change the battlefield. As dawn approaches in Eastern Europe, one reality stands out more clearly than ever before. The Black Sea is no longer a space where Russia can operate without consequence. It is contested, monitored, and increasingly shaped by Ukrainian action. The idea of Russian naval invincibility there has been shattered, perhaps permanently. What comes next will define the next chapter of this war. Whether it brings restraint or escalation, recalculation or retaliation remains to be seen. But tonight, one truth is unavoidable. Ukraine did not just destroy a hidden command post. They exposed a weakness, rewrote expectations, and reminded the world that this conflict is evolving in ways Russia never planned for. And as events continue to unfold, we will remain here, watching closely because the decisions made in the coming days will echo far beyond the Black Sea.